Hi everybody, Scott Holowinski here, Vice President and Co-founder of Gillware Data Services. And my topic of today is something that many of our partners ask us about, which is how do I put together a master service agreement for the backup services that I'm offering to my clients. As IT professionals, none of us like to think about legal aspects of what we do, but nonetheless, they're really, really important. So what we went ahead and did is we worked with our attorneys to put together a very universal agreement that you can use with your end users. And what I want to do today is actually go through really the critical aspects of the agreement. And at the end of the video, if you're interested in actually getting your hands and downloading a copy of it so you can actually go and use it, we're more than happy to provide that to you. So what I'm going to do now is switch over and kind of go step by step through this document. Not every single part of it, but the critical components that if you do go ahead and use this, you'll need to update with your information to make sure that it works for your particular needs. So again, what we're looking to put together here is a master services agreement. And for this particular agreement, we're actually talking specifically about backup services. But if you had other services that you're offering, you could use this similar agreement for those services as well. First things first, you want to put your company logo up here at the top. Just makes it kind of branded for you and adds a little more weight to it. Kind of working from top to bottom here in the document. Obviously, the most important stuff here at the top is stuff like date, your company name, and obviously the small business's name that you're offering this agreement to. You need to make sure that this is filled in properly. The business type is going to be anything like an LLC or a corporation, whatever that might be. We have a very basic implementation of what services means or explanation of what backup services means, and it's pretty straightforward there. The first section after getting all the business address and company information in there is getting the fees and pricing put together. Again, most of our partners are going to be offering this on a monthly recurring basis, so you need to take a look at exactly what you're providing to the end user. Figure out how many servers they're supporting, how many small maybe computers, laptops, desktops, and put together what their monthly fee is going to be, and you want to fill that in here. Now we do also have a pricing exhibit. Sometimes customers start with a certain level of services. Maybe they are only backing up one server, but over the course of the year, they go ahead and add another couple servers or another laptop or desktop that they want to back up with you. You want to make sure that you lay out what those additional fees would be if they do decide to add additional backups to their service. So this pricing exhibit is at the bottom. I'm just going to scroll down there right now. The pricing exhibit is right here. We filled this in for you, but go ahead and adjust this to whatever your pricing specifics are for the backup service that you're offering. But again, this really comes in handy when your customer comes 6 months into their contract and says, hey, I want to add another server and back that up. So make sure that you put your pricing in here so that you're ready for those types of events. Just going back up to the top here. Now we do our billing, we recommend that we do it on a monthly basis, so that's kind of what this language here explains. We also suggest that you put something in that handles the situation where maybe the customer adds something mid-month. How is that going to get handled? So we would recommend doing it just like we lay out here. If the company adds some servers, they'll just simply get added onto the contract on the day that they add those servers. All right, next section, really, really important, coverage and support. You can leave this as is, but if you do have different service levels or support levels that you're offering to your end users, make sure that you tweak this contract accordingly. Most of our partners are providing a weekly email report, but if you have a higher end service, maybe better coverage or 24-hour support, anything like that that you're going to be offering for an additional fee, make sure that you spell that out here in this section. Similar to the fees and pricing section, we also have an exhibit for support. I'm going to scroll down to that again at the end of the document here. On the support side, we laid out the basic support Monday through Friday. We put in 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. Central Time. What the additional fees would be if they need support outside of those normal hours. Again, adjust this for whatever weekend fees or holiday fees you might have. All this chart here is an explanation of kind of the way you're going to handle a situation if it arises. We suggest that you just kind of leave this as is, and it really just goes through a lot of different scenarios. On the left-hand side, you have what is the backup solution description. For example, a full image backup with on-premise BDR. So if that's what your customer has installed, and that's how you're backing their data up. What's the primary resolution strategy? Of course, the first thing you're going to try and do is to restore from the on-premise BDR. The secondary resolution strategy is going to transfer from Gillware's offsite backup to an external storage device and ship it to the client. And then in some situations, there's actually a third approach. For example, if you're using offsite virtualization. And then really, really important, you don't want to lock yourself into specific restore or response times. We all know that things pop up and it's not always possible to hit a 1 hour response time or a 1 hour resolution time. So, we typically say within an hour you're going to of notification, the company is going to respond. And then resolution time is reasonable efforts. So again, you don't know how long it's going to take you to necessarily resolve the problem. Certainly don't want to put in a specific time that you're contractually obligated to. Again, anything can happen. Let them know you're going to respond quickly and that you're going to resolve it as fast as you can. All right, going back to the top here. We covered service fees, we covered support. Next critical section is going to be the term of the agreement. We set this up with a 1-year term. It auto renews each year unless either party notifies the other within 60 days before the renewal. Very, very standard language here. If you wanted to have a longer term, you certainly can, but 1 year is very, very typical in the IT space. We obviously have a lot of legal information in terms of the service fees. Taxes are obviously covered by the customer, when they'll be invoiced, and then handles late payments here. Very, very standard. Termination clauses are also very standard. We have really two of them. One is for cause. This basically says that if either party fails to hold up their end of the bargain and fails to fix that within 60 days, for example, if you fail to fix a backup situation within 60 days, the end user has the right to cancel the service at that point in time. You obviously get the right to remedy the situation, but if you don't do that, your end user has the right to cancel. Same thing goes for the customer. If they fail to pay you, they're not holding up their end of the deal. You also have the right to cancel their service. All right, so the next sections really involve liability, limitation of liability, and there's a lot of legalese in here, and I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm not an attorney, but the really, really critical one that you want to make sure is here, and we have put it is in the event something happens, whatever that might be, God forbid you lose the customer's data, you don't want them being able to come to you and basically put you out of business. And this clause essentially limits the damages that you would be responsible to. And that limitation is the preceding 3 months paid by the client. So if the client has paid you $400 over the last 3 months, the most they can come after you for would be $400. And again, of course, we're all going to do our best to offer the very, very best service that we possibly can, but in the real world, things happen. It's not always avoidable, and you want to make sure your business is protected in the event that that happens. So this language is in here. It's very standard, and again, the most they can come after you for would be the last 3 months of payments that they made to you. There's other language in here, very common in these types of agreements, which is basically if act of God or things that you can't prevent, it's not your fault. Fires, floods, tornadoes, these are events that happen and are unavoidable, and it's nothing you could do to prevent them, and you're protected in those situations. That language is in this contract as well. We go through confidentiality, security of content, all very standard language. And then we get down to the bottom. Again, here you need to make sure you enter in your company's information. That's pretty obvious here. We already covered these exhibits. Make sure that you've updated them to match the pricing schedule that you're using in your business. Uh, and again, the support hours and any holiday weekend fees that you might charge, make sure that these are up to date. So again, this was a really quick look at a very basic master service agreement that we had put together for the use of our partners. There's really only about 5 sections, these sections that I've highlighted in red that you need to pay special attention to. Most customers are going, or partners are going to leave them as is. But again, in some of the support areas, maybe you want to tweak some things, obviously on the pricing schedule. And of course, for each customer, you need to fill in their monthly fee for the services, as well as your information here and your client's information. Again, we're going to make this available to all of our partners. Just go ahead and fill out the information off to the side here, and you can download this agreement. It's for your use, and hopefully it helps you get your backup service offering put together, and obviously legally protects you in situations where, God forbid, something happens, your business is protected. So thank you.